Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Ezra from Legion, and you are watching CMS TV.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Top Hat Man was the pinnacle song, right?
Yeah.
You know, how having a top 10 song like that in a lot of markets, how does that affect today's world? Do people remember it? Do you feel like you're reaching a whole new set of people that didn't hear it? I mean, where does that lay?
Yes, for sure. And the cool thing is, I don't know, we did a show like last year or something before we started recording this, and we opened up with Top Hat Man.
Okay.
And the place just like erupted on the first breakdown, and like hits started out, and there's like, I'm looking out in the crowd, I'm like, it's an all ages show, and I'm like, these people are in high school and this is fantastic. Yeah.
Chris Akin Presents. I, of course, am Chris Akin, and today on the show, we are going to dive into one of the better records of the entire year. It is EVILUTION II. The band is Nuse, spelled N-U-S-E, so that you guys get it right when you go look for it. You definitely want to check this out. This thing is, we'll get into what it is here in a second, but it is a great record. It's a great listen. And here to talk all about it is the main man himself, Mike LaMastro. Mike, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's great to have you, man. And dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know anything about your band, quite honestly. Your publicist threw it to me. He's like, "Hey, can you do this one?" Yeah, sure. No, I kind of blindly just sure. I didn't even hear the music when I agreed to do it. I was like, it's Muncie. I do a lot with Muncie. Whatever, fine. Yeah. Then I listened to it, and I'm not gonna. And again, not lying here. I thought you guys were gonna be a punk band. Yep. I really thought the name Nuse. I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be a Pennywise knockoff thing, and it's not. This is an ass kicker of a record, man. I love this.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Thanks to Muncie for getting it out to you. Muncie's a great guy. I've been working with him for several years, but yeah, we are a thrash band with a lot of different elements. We definitely have a hardcore influence, being over here in New Jersey with bands like Biohazard. Played with Sick of It All, and we have a little bit of punk influence with Suicidal Tendencies / Thrash, and Descendants is an influence. So sure. There's a lot of elements that we have brought to the table in the last 30 years, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's a fun listen. Now, I went back, obviously I heard EVILUTION II, so of course I went back and listened to EVILUTION I. It doesn't feel like it's like just a combined two-piece thing that you've cut into two pieces. It feels different. Is it indeed two sessions, or were these songs that kind of carried over, or what?
Yeah, no, two different sessions. It's the evolution of Nuse over the last several years for both EVILUTION Volume 1 and now Volume 2. We've historically been a three-piece, right? Okay. Since we released Hung Well back in 2002. Oh my goodness gracious, that seems like yesterday. But we added Mike Wilday to the fold, who is an incredible guitar player. We had known Mike for the last 30 years, just playing out, opening up for bands like Typo Negative, and we just did the whole circuit over here in the Northeast corridor together. So we knew Mike a long time. And in 2020, it was COVID. Right. And I text Mike. I'm like, "What you been doing?" He's like, "Actually, nothing." Right? Because I knew his band Spin Cycle, they had dismembered. And I'm like, "Hey, why don't you just come over and just jam out with us? Right. It's COVID. Nobody's really doing anything." And he's like, "Yeah, that sounds good." And we knew who he was, right?
Sure.
And we knew he was incredibly talented. So I'm like, "Yeah, we'll just throw it around a little bit." I tell the guys, Eric and Bobby in the band, I'm like, "Mike's coming over next week. We need to know Roots by Sepultura. We need to know Frayed Ends of Sanity. We need to know Mandatory Suicide the Crooked Cross. Like, we had this whole list. So when Mike came over, we're just like, let's try this one. But we had been practicing them for like a week before Mike, because we didn't want to blow this opportunity.
Right.
So to get back to tie it into a circle here, to get back to answering your question.
Sure.
Yeah, Mike brings in this new dimension. So there's a evolution to the sound, and that carried over into Evolution II. So,
okay.
Yes.
Did it change how you guys, not necessarily write, but how you record, and specifically how you craft songs, knowing that you have a different skill guy in the band now?
It certainly does. You know, Chris, we don't like to record things we can't do live.
Sure.
Right. So historically, as a three-piece, we wanted to create a wall of sound, but everything had to be, there had to be clean lanes for everything so that we can do this stuff live. Adding Mike takes a lot of pressure off me, because I sing lead, I play lead guitar. I was the only guitar player, but now that gives me freedom to do other things. So it changes the way that we write. It doesn't change the writing process.
Sure.
This is my home studio in here, and we get in here and we just record everything, and we'll just throw out riffs and tie in ideas. We always have the crowd, the fan in mind when we're recording. It's like, hey, this is a great riff that the fans would love. It would open up a pit. So it hasn't changed the process, but now we're able to add layers, and it takes a lot of pressure off me, so I could get more creative when we take this thing on the road.
Sure. How does it change you as a performer on the stage, though, having to give up a little bit of space and maybe adjusting where you stand so that he's comfortable as well? Did it change all that as well, or?
That's a great question. So as far as how I perform, it's only gotten better.
Okay.
Right? But to your point, it was weird those first couple shows, because I'm used to having all this space, and now there's another human on stage with us. And so positioning and making sure that I'm in a position where I don't knock into anybody, because I after the first couple chords, Chris, when I know everything is sounding great, I just let adrenaline take over.
Right.
I could get pretty animated on stage. I like to move around. So that was weird, those first couple shows. And a lot of these places that we're playing at, it's not Madison Square Garden. So the stages are tight.
Sure.
Etc. Yeah.
Right on. Definitely. This episode of the CMS Network is brought to you by our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. If you are a coffee lover, you will love what they are selling over at Blackout Coffee. Make sure you get yourself some. The only thing woke about this company is the drinker of the coffee, because it gives you quite a jolt. I am a personal fan of the Brutal Awakening Dark Roast, but everybody's a little bit different. Make sure you get what is your favorite today. Go to blackoutcoffee.com. Use the promo code CHRIA20 to save 20% on your first order. It's that simple. So one more time, blackoutcoffee.com. That is the link, or use the full link if you're going to shop around, that is scrolling on the bottom, and get yourself some of the best coffee that is out there today. blackoutcoffee.com. Well, Mike, let's talk about some of the record here. Let's start with the one that you've shared with everybody, Malibu. It's done very well from what I understand on the streaming circuit. Talk a little bit about this song, and I'm curious, just for you two, it's kind of a two-parter. How important for this kind of music that's never going to get like true mainstream coverage is the streaming world? I mean, is it, do you focus everything into Spotify and try to find the guy that owns the hot playlist to get your songs on it? Or do you not worry about that? You just put the music out and let it fall where it lays. So talk about that, as well as the feedback that you've gotten, because Malibu's obviously played over most of the country of the world at this point.
76 countries.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Yeah, I'll unpack that for you. These are great questions. So Malibu was actually the first song on this album. We started the recording, I think, in February.
Okay.
And by mid-March, like all the way through, it was just one of those songs. Usually we'll do the music and then I'll write the lyrics. But this one just kind of we just completed it. It was completed by March. And the idea for it was, there's an ideal society with everybody keeping up with the Joneses, and then there's like your true self, right? Who you are. And for me, I'm a musician, right? This is an example. This song's not written about me in any way, shape, or form, but I kind of just channeled, my persona because I feel like others have identified with that. And like my true passion is music. Ever since I put a Kiss record on my Snoopy record player when I was 5 years old, and I heard the guitars when it broke into "I Want You," and I'm like, I want to make that noise. So you have these two things, your true self, and then what society views as, what successful is.
Mm-hmm.
And in the music world, I mean, we get tons of streams now, radio plays. If I printed out all of these plays onto paper, it would stack from here to the ceiling. That pays nothing. It covers beer money and guitar strings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to sustain that. But society expects this out of an individual. And so if you watch the video for Malibu, I used AI. It was cool. I wanted to take a break from the recording process, and I'm like, let me just play around with AI. It comes out really cool as a message. You can see like the representations of individuals there, one being an ideal, the other one not being so ideal. And it's this constant struggle within to like, do I just give everything up and just, go with my authentic self? So that was the writing. It was the first one done.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as putting it out for a single, we put it out for a single back in May, and we just let it go, Chris. Right. So we just dumped it into Spotify. A couple of curators picked it up and they ran with it. And then it just started generating all these streams. And what you want to do on Spotify is you want to get to like a 20% popularity score.
Mm-hmm.
And then things just start taking off on their own. Right. The algorithm kicks in. And then people start streaming it from everywhere. So it's been building up since May, and it's been snowballing. I think this week and it's Thursday, since Monday, we've had over, 1,000 streams. Nice. And in 76 different countries. And then now we have people reaching out to us in like the UK, wanting us to do a festival next year and all great stuff.
Hell yeah.
Hope that answers it.
Oh, it does. And one of the things that jumped out at me from your press kit anyway, which we'll take that for whatever that is, but is the point that on the back of doing it that way, where you're kind of a DIY guy, you're not faking the social media like so many people do. Many people, and I mean, it's amazing. I'm an IT guy. First and foremost, I own an IT business, so and I know you're an IT guy as well. So I am. As well as I do. We can look at a YouTube video in 3 seconds and say, "Oh yeah, 20,000 followers, 2 comments. I know where those came from." Yeah. We can identify it. I love that you don't do that. I love that you're not using the robots. I know that I know it's a temptation, especially with the money it can generate for a small band like yourself to have 100,000 followers, fake, real, whatever.
Yeah.
That's great that you don't do that, though. It's cool that you're actually, whatever it is, it is.
We are hardline about that, Chris. So, I mean, you look at our TikTok account, and it's like, I don't know, we have like 10,000, 11,000 followers, but look at how many people we're following. A lot of times you'll see people, with 5,000 followers, but they're following 20,000 people.
Right.
And they're simply reciprocating. And then to your point, there's the bots out there, right? We have a hard line, we don't want fake fans, I think our Instagram only has like 800 followers, but there's other bands, that have been around less amount of years that have all these followers, but they're all just bots, and
Right.
it's you can see right through that stuff. Actually, in Spotify, it's frowned upon. Like, if you like your popularity score, if you have those bots in there, it affects it negatively, and Spotify might even just like ban you because it's all fake. Yeah.
Sure. Well, obviously, Mike, you have Evolution 2. It's done. Anytime a band does a record, puts it out, the logical question is the touring. Are you going to be able to tour? Is it pricing itself out now to tour? It seems like it's quite expensive even to do small runs like an East Coast, just down the coast and back run. It seems like it's incredibly expensive. Talk a little bit about touring and what the plan is for Nuse.
Yeah, so we've taken a much different approach with this release with regards to touring.
Okay.
We are only looking to get into marquee shows. We're in talks with doing a couple shows, perhaps with Life at Agony, Cannibal Corpse, Biohazard, Hatebreed. So we'll do bigger venues as a supporting act for those shows. And as far as like any kind of local stretches, you'd call them, we're trying to put one together like in the Atlanta region, because we have some venues reaching out to us. We're actually using this is a little tip for some bands out there.
Sure.
We're using Chat GPT, and we're saying, hey, what's the most effective way to do these 8 shows, or to do 8 shows with this particular venue in the mix, hotels, other clubs that are supporting metal and playing metal shows. Can you put this all together into a tour plan? And it'll show you like the cheapest hotels you can stay at. It'll tell you like, hey, hit Atlanta, then go up north to Myrtle Beach, and then work your way back to Jersey, and that's how you want to do it. Stay at this hotel, and because now, like, we used to have a lot of equipment. We used to bring in, the 412 cabinets. Our bass player has a bass stack that's about 1 million pounds. We've gotten really light. So we're using all solid state gear. I'm using my Helix. Mike's using his, whatever he has over there. And we have impulse patches. And we are just carrying a backpack and a guitar. Drummers carrying sticks, because we're putting in backlines into our stage requests. So that's how we're kind of doing it. So we're going to pick and choose. We'll probably do about 8 dates from now until the end of November. And but we'll be very selective about that, Chris.
Sure. Do you feel, and I'll tell you up front, I don't feel that the established bands do a good job of this. I don't feel like the established, especially in thrash, I don't feel like they've done a good job at promoting the next wave and the next wave after that. I mean, there's so many great young thrash bands, and even the ones I'm calling young are not that young anymore, like Havoc or Lazarus AD, or there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm gonna name names, but I'm not doing it to be an ass. I don't feel like the Metallicas and Slayers and Megadeths of the world have done their job of bringing the scene with them. Every time I see a tour with a Bay Area band announced, it's the same Bay Area bands. It's, look, Testament going out with Death Angel again, or Exodus is with them again, and and Metallica, you know what that is. It's whoever's paying Q Prime is going to get on the bills. I discovered all my music in the 80s and 90s based on seeing bands in front of other bands. I feel like they've done a terrible job of it. As somebody in the business, what do you think? Do you think they've done their part to carry the scene, or have they let it die for their own benefit?
They let it die for their own benefit, right? You have to reach out to the talent buyers at the clubs in order to get these marquee shows to add you to whatever selected bands they have. And the good news for us is we have a reputation. We have a reputation of having a following. And so when there are opportunities, we're able to to jump on them. I don't know if you're starting out though now and you don't have that. I don't know how you get it done. I really don't. And it's terrible. It's terrible for the business. It's terrible for the scene. I don't want to sound like an old man though.
No. Well, look, I mean, I'm in the business, and in the business, everybody gives me their music. So I know kind of what's going on out there, but I know most people that would love what you guys do don't get fed it. You know, if they watch this podcast or another podcast that you do or whatever, they might go, oh, let me check that out. But in the old days, you guys could do 10 shows and win 100,000 fans that fast.
Honestly, yes. And I miss those days.
Yeah.
It's really changed, to your point.
Yeah, it's sad, but it is what it is, man.
Yep.
Well, dude, obviously, man, you have the new record, Evolution #2. We try to tell everybody it's fine if you listen on Spotify, but go and buy something. Where is the best place to send people to actually go and buy anything? A shirt, a hat, a disc, a pre-order, anything. Where's the best place?
The best place is go to our website, nuseband.com. That's NUSEBAND.com. There you'll see links to merch. You'll see links to purchase CDs. You'll see links to all of our social media. So click on those, follow the band, buy merch so we can do festivals out in the UK and we could support that. That's where bands make their money. It's not in the spins or in Spotify plays. It's through merch. It's through attending these shows when we are local, and you can find everything at nuseband.com.
Right on, man.
Looking for a unique gift or just want to make someone's day? Head over to Cameo, where personal messages from your favorite creators are just a click away. Meet Chris Akin, one of the most captivating content creators on Cameo. Known for his wit, charm, and outlandish behavior at times, Chris is ready to make your special occasion even more memorable. Whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or just because, Chris delivers a message that feels like it's coming from a friend, an enemy, or someone in between. His energy, humor, and creativity make each video a one-of-a-kind experience. So don't wait. Visit www.cameo.com/Chris Akin and purchase your Cameo today from one of the best content creators on all of Cameo. Make someone's day special, or maybe even not so special, with a message they'll never forget.
And then last thing, man. I mean, for your band, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Top Hat Man was the pinnacle song, right?
Yeah.
You know, how having a top 10 song like that in a lot of markets, how does that affect today's world? Do people remember it? Do you feel like you're reaching a whole new set of people that didn't hear it? I mean, where does that lay?
Yes, for sure. And the cool thing is, I don't know, we did a show like last year or something before we started recording this, and we opened up with Top Hat Man.
Okay.
And the place just like erupted on the first breakdown, and like pits started out, and there's like, I'm looking out in the crowd, I'm like, it's an all ages show, and I'm like, these people are in high school and this is fantastic. Yeah.
No, that's great, man. It really is. It's great. It's got to be, and again, I'm a failed musician, so I have no experience in what I'm talking of here, but it's got to be great when you find that magic sauce that can span generations, and you know it. And obviously for you guys, this is the song. Top Hat Man is the song. It doesn't matter when you play it, it's going to move people. And that's the mystery that everybody looks for.
Yep, absolutely. We do have a sauce. And if you go back to like even 2002, the foundation of our style has continued even through these last two, even though we've added new layers and new dimensions. we're always going to be true to ourselves. We're always going to keep the fan in mind. So that recipe is always going to transfer onto newer releases. We just get better at getting more dimensional and maybe a little bit better in production.
Right on, man. Well, it's an excellent record. Everybody should definitely check it out. Evolution 2, it is Nuse, N-U-S-E. Make sure you spell it right or you're not going to find the right band. So it's Nuse, Evolution 2. And Mike, this has been fun. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Chris, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you spending some time with us.